Life seems unfair.
They say that good things happen to good people, and bad things happen to bad people. This doesn't always feel true. People who have done great things die before they should. It makes life seem unfair, and it is sometimes. People who do bad things get away with it sometimes. Eventually, people's deeds catch up to them. Sean was a good person. He volunteered every week at the animal shelter. He was nice to everyone, even strangers. He took care of his grandparents. Good things should happen to him, right? Unfortunately, Sean just found out that he got laid off at work. This is unfair. However, losing a job when he needed it badly made him very motivated to look for a new job that paid well. Eventually, he found a great job as a teacher in China. Lizzie was a bad person. She stole people's credit card information, yelled at waiters, and used all her friends. Bad things should happen to her, right? Well, Lizzie happened to win $200,000 from a lottery. This is unfair. Justice was served eventually. She was sued for credit card fraud and had to use the money she won to hire a lawyer.
Moving schools.
Catherine was moving schools because she was being bullied at her old school. She liked the teachers, her classes, and her friends at her old school, but the bullying was so bad. The girls would call her mean names, trip her, and embarrass her in front of other classmates. They bullied her because she was an easy target. Catherine wore a hearing aid and she was disabled. Catherine's new school was a private Christian school. She had to wear a uniform and pray between classes. Catherine was okay with praying, but she didn't like the uniform. She always liked expressing herself with clothes. Now, she could only wear the clothes she wanted on the weekends. Although there were no bullies, her classmates were hard to get along with. Catherine felt like her personality was so different from theirs. Her classmates were very serious, quiet, and kind of boring.
Writing an essay.
Bradley was a typical cool guy. He was the captain of the football team, dating the head cheerleader. He was rich, tall, and good-looking. He was also the president of the high school. Bradley had one problem. It was his grade in English. He couldn't write an essay to save his life. He had trouble coming up with ideas. Bradley's final English paper was supposed to be about his role model. He wanted to write about his football coach. Bradley knew he couldn't do well by himself, so he hired the smartest student in class to help him. He was going to pay Melody $10 an hour. Bradley invited Melody to his house. Okay, Bradley, start with an interesting sentence that's going to grab the reader's attention. How about, soccer is called football in most countries, Bradley suggested. But that has nothing to do with your topic, Melody said. Bradley felt bad. Hey, don't feel bad. Coming up with hooks can be challenging. Why don't you use a quote that your coach said? Melody suggested. Bradley thought that was a good idea. His hook was, "Football is an art, not a game."
Bad guy gone good.
Donald is getting out of jail today after 5 years. He was in jail for hurting a convenience store manager. Donald had stolen food from the convenience store, and the manager ran after him. Donald punched the manager and ran away with the food. Shortly after, the police got him. While Donald was in jail, he promised that he would change his life around if he got out of jail. He saw some scary stuff while he was in jail. Jail was a whole other world. It was almost like high school, but worse. There were cliques where the tough guys tried to scare everyone. Donald tried to stay away from trouble. When Donald got out of jail, he smelled the fresh air. It felt great being out. He went to the convenience store he stole from. The manager saw him and grabbed the phone immediately. Donald assured him that he didn't want to hurt him. "I want to apologize for what I did. I stole food because I was homeless. I'm not trying to make excuses for how I hurt you, though." Donald gave the manager an envelope with $1,000 inside. "I know it doesn't make up for everything, but I was saving up this money for 5 years in jail," Donald said. The manager gave him a hug.
The homecoming dance.
Kyle and Benjamin were hanging out after school. "So I'm going to the dance with Natasha," Benjamin excitedly said. "What? I was going to ask her out later today," Kyle said. "What? Well, it's too late. She already said yes to me," Benjamin said. Kyle was sad. He decided to ask Mary to the dance instead. It was better for him to ask someone than no one at all. At the dance, there was a DJ, a disco ball, food, the school mascot, and pretty decorations. Everyone was having a good time, except Benjamin, Kyle, Mary, and Natasha. Benjamin and Natasha barely spoke to each other. Natasha kept thinking about Kyle, and Benjamin thought Natasha was way too quiet. Kyle kept thinking about Natasha, and Mary was mad that Kyle wasn't paying attention to her. "Give me a second. I'm gonna see how Ben is doing," Kyle said to Mary. Kyle walked over to Benjamin. "Hey, where's Natasha?" Kyle asked. "She's in the bathroom," Benjamin said. "None of us are happy right now. Why don't we switch dates?" Kyle suggested. "That would leave me and Mary unhappy," Ben said. Kyle sighed. He knew Ben was right. The homecoming dance was just going to be a bad night.
The acne problem.
While most teenagers had acne, a condition where one gets a lot of pimples, Melinda had great skin. Her skin was perfectly smooth, with no flaws whatsoever. She thinks she got her smooth skin from her parents. She also might have smooth skin because she drinks a lot of water. Having acne is tough because teenagers care a lot about their appearance and what other people think of them. Having acne can cause people to feel bad about themselves, shy away from others, and not go out. Melinda doesn't have this problem, but her sister, Ivana, does. Ivana didn't understand why she had acne because no one in her family had it. Ivana ate fairly healthy too. She felt like she was just unlucky. Because of her acne, Ivana felt insecure about herself. It was hard for her to be confident. She always tried to avoid attention. She barely talked to anyone. Ivana decided to try Proactive because she kept seeing it on TV. It ended up improving her skin. It was less red and bumpy. Meanwhile, Melinda got her very first pimple, and it was on the day of her big speech in class. It was horrible timing. That's the thing about pimples, though. They just appear out of nowhere.
Started from the bottom.
Right now, Eileen is a famous fashion designer. She started from the bottom, though. She was raised by a single mother with 5 other siblings. There was barely enough to eat. In fact, there were a lot of days when she just ate an apple and a slice of bread. Eileen also lived in a bad neighborhood where hearing gunshots was normal. Eileen didn't do well in school either. She had a hard time focusing and often fell asleep while her teachers were talking. It was hard to think about George Washington or the scientific theory when you had personal problems. Because she didn't do well in school and she needed money, Eileen didn't go to college. She immediately worked at a clothing store as a cashier. Eileen would sketch designs during her break time. One lucky day, the owner at the time saw her designs and was impressed. He offered Eileen a position as a designer. Eileen worked for her boss for 5 years before starting her own company called Bottomless. There are now Bottomless stores in over 100 countries. Eileen has been on many talk shows speaking about her rise to success.
Christmas spirit.
Kenneth and Leslie raised their kids to have Christmas spirit. They do all the Christmas traditions. Everything from decorating the house with lights to putting a star on top of the Christmas tree. The kids even think that Santa Claus is real. This all changed when Kenneth and Leslie's son Thomas saw Kenneth putting a bunch of Christmas presents under the Christmas tree late at night. Thomas gasped. He was upset that his parents lied to him. "Mom, Dad, why didn't Santa come this year? I saw you two putting gifts under the tree," he said. Kenneth and Leslie looked at each other with worries. "Well, son, the truth is, Santa didn't have time to put them under the tree, so he gave them to me and your mom," Kenneth said. Leslie was impressed with her husband's ability to come up with a lie so quickly. "You know, a lot of kids at school say that Santa isn't real," Thomas said. "Well, they're lying, honey. They just want to make you feel bad," Leslie said. "Really? Well, Can you prove it by bringing me to Santa Claus? Thomas asked. Well, we can bring him to you, Kenneth said. An hour later, Kenneth entered the house in a Santa Claus costume.
The career day.
The career day was the time when parents of students came into the classroom to talk about their jobs. Jane brought her dad, who was a bus driver. Jane's dad did not like his job when he was first starting out. After 5 years, he liked it. He liked it because he got to talk to people. Sometimes, though, no one wanted to talk to him. Those days were bad. Jane's dad talked about what he had to do as a bus driver in front of Jane's classmates. Anyone interested in becoming a bus driver? Jane's dad asked. No one raised their hand. The next parent going up was Julia's dad. Julia's dad was a firefighter. He dressed up in his firefighter uniform. He talked about his experiences and the crazy fires he had to put out in the past. The students loved Julia's dad. They asked him a ton of questions, and someone even hugged him. Jane's dad felt bad. He left the classroom before the day ended. Jane's teacher ran out of the room to talk to him. Mr. Lowell, I just wanted to tell you that I have so much respect for what you do. Jane's dad smiled.
The vote for swim captain.
Benjamin and Kyle had just made their speeches to be swim captain. All right, all those who want Kyle as your captain, raise your hand, the swim coach said. 5 people raised their hands. All those for Benjamin, raise your hand, the swim coach said. 30 people raised their hands. Everyone congratulated Benjamin and chanted his name. Kyle was upset and left school early. Benjamin went to Kyle's house after school. He knocked on Kyle's door. Kyle opened it. Hey, man, what's up? Kyle said. Were you ever going to tell me that you said I'd be a terrible captain to the whole swim team? Benjamin angrily asked. Kyle did not know that Benjamin found out about the betrayal. I'm sorry, man. I wanted to be the captain so badly. I thought we were best friends. How could you do that? Benjamin asked. Kyle shook his head in shame. The truth is, I was jealous of you. You're a great swimmer. You're the smartest one in our class, and everyone likes you. Kyle, you're pretty great too. Girls like you. Your swim technique is amazing, and you know how to get what you want, Benjamin said. Can you forgive me? I'm really sorry, Kyle said. Yeah, but let's talk about it over dinner. I'm starving, Benjamin said. Kyle and Benjamin went to a restaurant they had been going to since they were 10 years old.
Mary and Natasha.
Mary and Natasha both like Kyle. They both want to go to the homecoming dance with him. Mary got to him first. Hey, Kyle, want to go to the homecoming with me? Oh, gosh, I'm actually asking someone else later today, Kyle said. Mary was furious. How could he say no to her? "Who are you asking?" Mary asked. "Natasha," he said. Mary had to do something. She couldn't let Natasha take Kyle away from her. Mary walked over to Benjamin, Kyle's best friend. "Hey, Benjamin, you should ask Natasha to the homecoming dance." "Really? I don't think she likes me," he said. "She told me she likes you," Mary said. "Okay, I will ask her out. Thanks for telling me," Benjamin said. Benjamin went up to Natasha during lunch with roses. "Natasha, will you go to the homecoming dance with me?" Benjamin asked. Natasha didn't want to go with Benjamin, but everyone was staring at them. She didn't want to embarrass him by saying no. "Yes, I'll go with you," she said.
The election speech.
Benjamin walked out of the locker room after swim practice. One of his team members, Aaron, wanted to talk to him. "Ben, there's something you have to know," Aaron said. "What is it?" Benjamin asked. "Kyle said you would be a terrible captain to the entire swim team," Aaron said. Benjamin went back home depressed. He didn't think that Kyle would betray him. Tomorrow would be the swim captain election. Benjamin didn't have time to worry about Kyle. He had to prepare his speech. The next day, Benjamin and Kyle stood in front of the swim team. Kyle went first. "Hello, fellow team members. I want to be your next swim captain because there is nothing I care more about than swim. I will put 110% into every practice we have and every competition we enter. We're going to be winners if you vote for me." Benjamin was up next. "Hi all. I should be the next captain because I want to make this team stronger. It's important that we all work together and be friends with each other. We need to support each other whether we win or lose. I will make this team a family. By being a family, we will be more motivated to do our best."
Fireball wings.
Lillian loves spicy food. She has a high tolerance for it, which means that she can eat a lot of it without suffering. Sometimes she even adds more chili to spicy food. Lillian and her friends decide to try the fireball wings at a popular chicken wing place in their town. The fireball wings were supposed to be so spicy that you could still feel the burn after 1 hour of eating a bite. Lillian and her friends had to sign a waiver to eat the wings so that they couldn't sue the business if they had any health problems after eating the wings. Lillian was excited. Finally, the plate of wings came in, and everyone could smell the chili. One of her friends sneezed because the smell was so strong. Lillian took the first bite. It was hot. She started panting and breathing heavily. She drank some water, but it was still hot. Her friends ordered some milk for her. Milk is supposed to be good for dealing with spicy food. Lillian drank 2 glasses of milk, but her mouth was still burning. Her friends decided not to eat the wings because if Lillian couldn't handle it, then they surely wouldn't.
Valentine's hater.
Linda loved her husband, Tom, but she hated Valentine's Day. She thought it was lame and pointless. She thought it was dumb that couples acted especially nice to each other on Valentine's. She believed that lovers should treat every day like Valentine's Day. Tom had flowers delivered to Linda's workplace on Valentine's Day. When she saw them on her desk, she rolled her eyes. Tom knew she hated Valentine's Day. She also thought that flowers were a waste of money. They died so quickly. She could never understand why anyone would pay over $30 for a bouquet of flowers. When Linda got home after work, she asked Tom why he sent her flowers. "I know you hate Valentines, but I saw my friend play the piano in front of his wife for Valentine's, so I wanted to do something special," Tom said. Linda smiled. Even though she hated Valentine's, she felt loved by her husband.
A yes man.
Paul tried hard to please everyone and had a hard time saying no to anything. When people asked him to do exciting things, Paul said yes, so people would think he's a fun guy. He also said yes to exciting things because he thought life was too short not to try new things. When people asked him to do favors for them, Paul said yes because he wanted people to like him. His agreement to everything was a big problem when he was busy with homework, chores, or any other personal commitments. One time, he had a test that was worth 50% of his final grade, and the day before it, he decided to go skydiving with his neighbor. Skydiving took about 5 hours, and Paul couldn't get home until 11 p.m. By then, he was tired and found it hard to focus on studying. Another time, Paul's friend asked if he could turn in her paper for her at 3 p.m. Paul had to be at his soccer game at 3:10 p.m. Any other person would have said no, but not Paul. Paul turned in the paper for his friend, ran to the gym to change, and then arrived at the soccer game 10 minutes late.
Flip-flop danger.
There are a lot of rules on what students can and cannot wear. Girls can't show bra straps, wear shorts that are too short, wear tank tops, nor can they wear body jewelry. Guys can't show their boxers or wear pants that are too baggy. Both girls and guys cannot wear open-toed shoes, including flip-flops. The students are sad because flip-flops are comfortable and easy to wear. Flip-flops are also great when it's really hot. One sunny August, Sebastian decided to break the rules and wear flip-flops to school. He felt cool that he was breaking the rules. His friend Brett looked at him in horror. "Dude, you're going to get in trouble," Brett said. Sebastian laughed. "They won't even notice," he said. Sebastian was right. Class after class, teachers failed to notice that Sebastian was wearing open-toed shoes. After the last class bell rang, Sebastian and his classmates walked out. When he walked outside, Sebastian tripped over a rock. His toes started to bleed and his foot was bruised. He couldn't even get up. Brett called the nurse over. The situation was too serious for the nurse to handle. The nurse had to call the hospital. Sebastian never wore flip-flops again.